First impressions on Jake Strong?
Yeah, he's coming along. I mean, there's a lot of true freshmen, still should be in high school quarterback coming in this system. There's a lot on his plate. Only 2 practices in. I mean, he's where he should be. Clearly not perfect yet, got a lot to learn, but can really spin the ball well and loves football and is working at it every day. So that's all you can ask for right now.
How much further advanced are your guys after a year being in the offense compared to where they were last year at this point?
Yeah, we're a lot more advanced. Just not thinking as much. But when you're not thinking as much, you play faster, and that's what you want. So coming in with a lot more scheme and some of that stuff to start out spring ball. Where last year we were a little more base, just learning the basics. So guys have done a good job of continuing to reciprocate everything that we're throwing at them, and it's been good so far.
Who are some of the guys that really took advantage of the off-season's program?
Baylor Cup looks really, really good. I think Baylor Cup's going to have a really good year for us. Offensive line looks really, really good. A couple guys y'all didn't see as much last year. Cole and Rusty, those 2 guys look really good. Jacoby Jackson looks great. Really focused on his body in the offseason. He looks good too. Same thing, Jaron Bradley looks like $1 million. Miles Price, a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys took advantage and they look really good.
Who are some of the positions specific players that have really stood out in what they've brought in and what they remember from last year and how they're performing right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is already probably more continuity on the O-line. Just better communication up there, understanding when certain things are coming. Clearly I think the quarterbacks are a lot more comfortable too, just back there and seeing defenses and certain things we're looking at. So I think those guys, again, playing receiver in this offense is not super easy. There's a lot on your plate, and those guys have came in and, again, we're throwing a lot of scheme at them early, and they're doing a good job of handling all that stuff that we did last year.
What's kind of your scouting report on Rusty for people who haven't seen him?
Yeah, he's just an awesome human being, first and foremost. But he brings a different energy to your offensive line. Everything that he does is a million miles an hour, which we love. Clearly we like to play a tempo here. So just him being able to get to that line of scrimmage faster and get everybody else lined up with him. When you watch him on tape line up, it's going to make the guys around him say, hey, if the 300-pounders line up that fast, we need to line up that way too. So again, I don't know exactly, 29 starts maybe at center for him. So he just brings a lot of experience. Clearly been in this system. This will be year 3 for him in this system. So again, just a lot of continuity in what we're trying to do for him.
And for Cole Spencer, what's the process like to kind of get ramped up and get back into
he's ramped up. He looks great right now. It was really, really fun for me because clearly I'm close with him, and we're out here and we're going through our walkthrough, and him and I were having a conversation, and I felt like him and I almost both came to tears how excited he was to say he's back on the football field. Just what that means to him. It's been a long time since he's been out here, so he looks really, really good. Really taking care of his body. Has gotten every rep so far with no setback, so I think we're going to continue that as we go.
Coach, what was your first impressions on Dre McCray?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Today we probably got sacked in a team period, but we ended up launching a deep post probably 60 to 70 yards downfield, and he tracked it down. And we just haven't seen anything like that probably around here, just true speed like that probably since a Jakeem Grant type guy. I know I was not here for a few years, but he can really, really take the top off. Another guy that loves football, student of the game. We're going to try to use him in multiple facets too, slot, outside, try to give him some speed toss, maybe put him in the backfield a little bit. So, he's different, trying to learn a little bit as we go because he's got a lot on his plate, just a newer guy. But, man, he's got a different gear that we haven't seen around here in a long time, and that's been awesome to have around.
Where you can know body-wise and just speed, what have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, his big deal last year was just trying to stay healthy throughout the year. He finally started to stay healthy towards the end. And, we were also trying to be smart with keeping that red shirt on him last year. But physically, when he walks in the door, you're like, that's what they're supposed to look like. He's in tip-top shape. Another guy that loves the game, takes it very seriously. He's looked really, really good so far, too. I think the thing we got to look out for him is making sure he continues to take care of his body and stays healthy.
In terms of, obviously Taj is kind of the lead dog in that running back. In terms of snaps beyond him, is it a competition between Cameron and Bryson Donnell, or is it more we're going to get both of those guys on the field in different ways because they're different styles?
Yeah, I think probably the latter there. They are definitely different. I like to say Cam has that acceleration. whenever he hits the hole, he just kind of goes. And Bryson's going to be more of your big bruiser, as you guys saw last year at times. Again, we're going to kind of roll with it right now. It's kind of the Taj and Cam 1-2 punch, and we're still trying to bring Bryson along, but he's another unbelievable young man that studies and knows everything that we're trying to get with him. And again, he'll just be a redshirt freshman, so we're trying to try to continue to get him going in this thing.
How much of a step forward have the tight ends made since last year?
I mean, those guys did a lot for us. I know when you look at the stat sheet, a lot of things they do, they're like linemen, so a lot of the stats don't show up, but they had a lot of targets. Not as many catches as we would like, but when you go back and you look at the Ole Miss game and some of the blocking things that those guys did, I mean, those guys have really come along. And again, Baylor's had an unbelievable offseason. Teeter looks great. Jaden York is the guy y'all are going to see this next year, I firmly believe. Mason, we're just being cautious with him to make sure we get him to September. But those guys, again, I mean, we were in 11 or 12 personnel 80% of our snaps this year, when we continue to be that way. So hopefully they continue to get more involved in the scheme.
Anything else about the overall progress to the O-line that you've seen maybe in the first couple of days?
Yeah, again, just a lot. It seems like they've been playing together for more than 2 practices at this point. The camaraderie is great there. A lot of continuity between those guys already. It feels like they're hilarious. They're like a big family. Starting with Monroe Mills over there at the left tackle. He's the kind of the goof of the group, and then you move to Sirius Cole, to Goofy, Rusty, to those guys just all the way across the board. So it's already more glued in with those guys, I feel like, than we were last year, even though it's only been 2 practices.
Got time for about 2 more.
Have you had a chance to go good on good yet?
We have gone good on good, not live or tackle. We're just in our helmets right now, so it's hard to tell a lot of stuff, just because it's tough to, to me, in my opinion, it's tough to run the football without pads on. You're just not getting as much movement and some of that. But yeah, I mean, we've done good on good pretty much the whole time we're going.
What have you seen from the defensive guys when you've been in those kind of setups?
Yeah, Steve Linton's going to be a guy y'all are going to love. He's really, really good. We got some young DBs that are going to be really good players. We play with unbelievable effort on defense, and that's what I think shows up. Whenever we watch the tape, those guys fly around. Coach Schroeder's got them coached up to where there's no lazy plays. And I think when you play with effort like that, you're going to get the ball down, and that's the name of the game on that side of the ball. So they do a phenomenal job schematically. I mean, he got me today, sacked me multiple times today off some great scheme stuff they did. So he does a tremendous job, and again, they got some dudes over there. They're going to make plays for us this year.
So what's it like to kind of see Tyree back here and Marquise as well? I guess what's it like just to kind of see the guys come back for a little bit?
Well, it's great to see those guys, but depressing at the same time. I would love to still have some years out of them, but no, really proud of what they did last year. For guys to jump in the way they did and buy in to Coach McGuire and what we were trying to do on defense, and then to see them have the success that both of them did, it was really gratifying as a coach, and we obviously wish them the best. They set a really good standard for the new guys coming up.
I know Steve Linton is a name that's been mentioned. I guess what got you all to get in on him, and I guess what has he kind of shown so far? I know it's early, but I guess what has he kind of shown you that he could be?
Well, we knew, as we looked in the offseason, knowing that Tyree was going to be going to the pros, you want to get a guy who's exceptional as an edge rusher. And so we looked at all the guys in the portal, really primarily looking for a guy who can rush the passer, and we thought he was a guy that had a different get-off than most everybody else that was in that portal. He hadn't played a ton, but he played some, quality reps, and we thought he really fit what we are looking for in that position. And since he's been here, he's gained a ton of weight. He's jumped in with 2 feet. Really like the way he works, and we haven't slowed down our install, and he's picking things up. He's a smart player who works hard, and I think his future is very, very bright.
Speaking of install, have you all focused on anything different now that it's your year 2 and not year 1, and you're kind of cramming a bunch of stuff in?
Well, the difference is it's the same package, or for the most part, we tweak it every year, but our install schedule has been taking a sip out of a fire hydrant for these young guys. The older guys, they've got 1,000 reps in it, so we've been able to put it in quicker. But I've been impressed with guys like Steve that he hasn't flinched. And a lot of our younger guys, BJ, Brendan Jordan in secondary, he's picked it up like he's been running it for a while. So, some guys are swimming a little bit, but other guys, it's impressive to see their football IQ.
Joe and y'all have kind of indicated Baskerville is the guy that you're kind of projecting to take Marquise's spot. Who else is kind of around that position from the other three?
Yeah, BJ, Brendan Jordan is with one of the young guys who's there. We also have Chief. Joe Plunk has been in that position. Joe's a guy who's really a multi-talented guy. You can plug him in a lot of different spots, kind of like Adrian was for us last year.
Who are some of the guys that really took advantage of the offseason to really get their body in a better shape than it was last year?
Compared to where Steve was on the visit, he's put on some good weight. Terrell Tillman's put on some good weight. Dylan Spencer came in looking pretty good, and he's really starting to look good. I think Duda has really changed his body from, particularly a year ago. He got better during the season. I think the off season has leaned him up. He's starting to look more like a dude. He's been impressive to see. I'm trying to think who else. Those are the guys that stick out in my mind. Those three. Bryce, he's not out here with us. I don't know if you've seen him, Bryce Ramirez. For a guy that broke his leg, he looks like he could play right now. They're not releasing him just yet, but he's really worked his tail off to get back.
When you guys have gone good on good, who are some of the offensive players that have made you turn your head a little bit and go, glad I don't have to bend him every week?
Yeah. I think both our quarterbacks have been dynamite. They understand, they have such a better command of the offense, having gone through it than a year ago at this time, which you would expect. But both of them are I think, exceptional at recognizing things, getting the right play, getting the ball out of their hands and to the right receiver. We got a bunch of receivers. The new guy, I don't even know his name, number 10. He caught a deep ball today. He can really roll. Our offensive line is, and we're not in pads yet. We'll find out a lot more come Saturday, but just watching them, you can see they've made big time progress from a year ago. So, you expect that in year two, but you can't just assume it. And, Coach reminds us that all the time. And it's fun to see, though, the team maturing and becoming more of what we're supposed to be.
Coach, how's Josiah Pierre looking at Mike linebacker?
He's going to be both at Mike and Will, but he's looked really, really good. I didn't realize when we came here last year, he had played like an outside position for them. I assumed he was an edge, just looking at his length and looking for what we were looking for, and I thought he did some good things. But he told me in the offseason that he had played inside before, and we're lacking a little bit of experience inside, and whether he played inside a year ago in our system or just in general, it's hard to replace game reps, especially at Division I level. So we put him in there, and he's still picking up the terminology, but he's got really good movement for an inside linebacker. We do a lot of things, if you remember last year, where our inside backers are going to walk to an edge, so it kind of goes with what he's already done in the past. So if he can pick that up, and I think he can, it gives us a chance to have another weapon as an inside guy who can also combo as an outside guy.
Would you like to rotate him and Tyreek the way you did Krishan and Tyreek last year?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to have four linebackers, to be honest with you.
Two at each spot.
Yeah. We're trying to get that everywhere, because if you can do that, then guys can play really, really hard. I thought our guys made strides. When I talked to different coaches in the offseason, that was a common, comment, whether it was high school coaches or college coaches, is, man, your guys play hard. And if we're not screwing them up, we should play hard. We don't slow them down mentally, but we've got to demand it in practice, and it's hard to do that if you're doing 80, 90 reps a game. If we can get it down to that 50, 60 and split those, it's a lot easier to do that.
So it's Osai, a question mark, and Jacob down right now. Who else repping at the wheel?
At our wheel, I'm trying to think. I think we had Ben has been with Tyreek, and then the second group, I think JP's been at Will. I can't remember if he's been Mike or Will. Today he was at Will, and then we've got some of the younger guys that are there. I think Wesley has primarily been a Mike, but he can play either way.
Canada's primarily been a Mike too, also, right?
Yeah, I think Ty's been there at the Mike.
Coach, what's the depth and youth in the secondary coming along? What's your first impression of them?
I think we the new guys that are on campus are really, really talented. I mentioned before, BJ's really stood out. At times you can see, our corners run. Mo Horn's done a nice job out here. Now he's got experience, so he should be able to understand things. But Jordan's been really good. Chapman's flashed at times. He can really run. He's got to get thicker. And then CJ's act like he's played before. He's a guy that you would expect that, who's played Division I snaps, but he's come on and he understands the system. The terminology is different, but he understands where to be, and he's going to be a physical presence out there.
Got time for about 2 more.
How much interest have you taken in both the Pac-12, Big 12 discussions, given your history out there? Hey, how much have you talked to your buddies on the West Coast?
Yeah, I do talk to them, but they have no idea. I'm from the West Coast. I think there's a lot of great traditional schools out there. I'm obviously not talking for the Big 12, but I think for college football, as a college football fan, I'd love them to still have the Pac-12, because I think that having teams on the coast. But I also know in this game nothing's set, and so you got to be able to pivot and go. We'll see what happens, and I know our commissioner's at the leading edge of all the new stuff happening, and he's ready to pounce whatever we got to do, and they just tell us who we're playing against, and we'll get ready for them.
Who out there did you grow up as a fan of?
I grew up in Southern California, so I was a big USC fan. Went to Catholic school, and half the school was Notre Dame fans, and I was on the other side. I like the Trojans.
So that's a real jolt for the Trojans to go to the Big Ten.
It's a little different. It's a little different, but it's the future, and if you're not moving, you're going to get run over by it.